Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Politics with Flo. I am your host, Flo. Today's session is regarding all these ICE raids and the protests that are happening as we speak. First thing that I'm going to speak on is evidently I was wrong, right? So I have no problem admitting that I was wrong. And this one, although I'm not entirely shocked, I am appalled at the situation considering what is going on, right? So if you're not aware of what is going on, essentially there are raids that are now being conducted in public places. The original raids that we were seeing in the beginning of the year were targeting, people with criminal records. Now it looks like they're targeting anybody who quote unquote looks like an immigrant or has, I don't really know who is being targeted, but based on what I've read is they are going to public places, right, where people gather, where there's a majority or a large group of immigrants. And this evidently is causing a scare in people in the community. But yeah, like I said, I have no issue admitting I was wrong. I did not think that we would get to this point. It is not only what's what I'm looking for. It's, in my opinion, this is morally wrong, right? Because these people are here to make a living. They're not here to cause any trouble. For the majority of these folks, at least, I believe, considering my situation, I come from immigrant parents. And for the most part, a lot of immigrants come here to make a living, to better themselves, and to see that these are the individuals who are being targeted. It is appalling, to say the least. So I didn't think it was going to get to this point, and I did say that people were panicking in the beginning of the year that this would not happen, and here I am, making another video, and like I said, I will admit that I was wrong in that because now it looks like they are. So, based on the stuff that I've seen, the stuff that I read, it looks like are using military-style tactics to conduct these raids, and it really is absolutely awful to see this. Not just because somebody who was born to immigrant parents, just because, again, these individuals are being targeted. Yes, they came here, a lot of them came here illegally, quote unquote illegally, right? They don't have the right to be in this country, but as a libertarian, and those of you who do not know that's my stance on a lot of things. I think it is a complete waste of time to go out there and do stuff like that when we have bigger issues in this country, right? Considering the economy, homelessness, all these other issues that we have, and this is what we're looking at. It really does feel like we're reverting back into the old days. And again, this is not something I say easily because I am all against false narratives since I've come out and done my platform. I've spoken against that. But I'm reading articles from both the left and both the right, and they're basically saying the same thing, that they're targeting individuals all over the county here in LA. And of course, there is response to that. People are responding to what is happening. My stance on that, look, honestly, I don't care at this point. Do what you got to do, right? If you're out there and you are protesting, make sure you're safe. Make sure that you don't get in trouble. Yes, I know that this is frustrating and this is something to be upset about, but at the same time, protect yourself, because as I was talking to one of my mentees earlier this week, if you do decide to do this and something happens to you, just be aware of the consequences, right? So I'm not going to say don't go out there and protest. I'm not going to advocate for violence either, but at the same time, what do you do at this point? What do you do considering their circumstances, right? Especially if you are one of these people who is affected by this personally. how do you respond, right? For example, during the COVID outbreaks, right? We had a lot of government overreach, at least in my opinion. And I spoke out against that. Initially, that's where I, started, right? I started there and so I'm all against government overreach. And I really think here in this situation, we are dealing with that. Yes, again, I understand these people are not here, quote unquote, legally, but it is such a waste of time to see this. It is such a waste of time to have the FBI and to have, again, military style raids. For what? For what? For people who are here making an honest living? Most of these folks really, they're barely making it here in this country, right? So I'm appalled. And I didn't think that it would get to this point. I really did not think that it would get to this point. I really thought that initially a lot of that rhetoric was just to get the right to vote for Donald Trump. But now it really is happening. At least that's what it looks like. Maybe I'm overreacting, and I normally don't do this. I'm pretty calm, and I like to read a lot of this stuff before making any kind of video, any kind of content. But again, all the stuff that I've read so far, that's what I've seen, that this is what's happening. And I spoke to my wife earlier today, and she told me that there's raids out here in Paramount. So it's happening. It's continuing to happen. And now, what's next, right? What's next? Considering the situation, right, that I spoke about a couple of weeks ago, with the Afrikaners, right? You're letting these people in, but then you do something like this. Like, why? It's appalling. It's appalling. It's disappointing, to say the least, because all the stuff that we thought Trump, at least those who voted for Trump, right, thought were going to get with the economy and all these other things, that we have yet to see. Now this is I guess, if you voted for Trump, you shouldn't be shocked, is what somebody told me, right? But like the stuff that's important, at least to me, is not being addressed. The stuff that all Americans in this country are looking to get addressed is not getting addressed. And we are using immigrant people, specifically, let's face it, it's Latin Americans, right? There's no other way to say it. Yes, of course, there's going to be other people who are not from Latin America who are going to be part of these raids, but let's face it, I live in a predominantly Asian community, and a lot of these folks are immigrants. I don't know if they're documented or not, right? But I'm not seeing any raids here. I'll let you know that right now. I've not seen any raids here since the beginning of the year. So to go out there and to go to these neighborhoods and seeing people get profiled is just appalling. It's disgusting. I'm lost for words, right? I'm lost for words. And like I said, I was wrong. I was wrong when I made the first video and I said not to panic. Now, I'm not going to say to panic. I'm not doing this to instill fear in people. I'm just here to express what I feel regarding the situation. And I'm just like, man, like why are we here? Why are we in this situation? So now what's going to happen? Like, my question is, how are you even determining who is documented or not when you show up to these raids? Like, are you asking everybody now who looks like an immigrant for their documentation? Are we going to start asking residents? Are we going to start asking citizens? I mean, what does that look like? Because, I guess we got to prepare, right? But I guarantee you this, if this continues, though, at least the way it's being portrayed, and again, I could be wrong, and I have no issue with being wrong. If you know of something else that's happening that's not being covered, please share it in the comment section. But as of right now, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. unless you are a far-right supporter, Trump or whatever you want to call yourself. But everybody else who was affected by this, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's awful to be seeing this happen to people who have nothing to do with this. Again, I understand that these are some of the consequences or some of the possibilities, but this shouldn't be happening, man. It sucks, right? That's all I wanted to say today. Again, feel free to comment if you have information. If I'm wrong, again, I have no issue being wrong, but I was wrong initially. I didn't think people that didn't have any kind of record were going to be targeted, but now we are. We're seeing them. Unbelievable. All right, until the next one, guys. Peace out.